What we're going to talk about now is simply some keys to self-motivation. And all of us have motivation of some sort. I define motivation as the desire to achieve that which you believe to be worthwhile.
If you clicked on this video, you're already ahead of the majority because you're looking for growth. Welcome to Epic Motivation. Let's get started.
And many people go through life never getting in touch with their greatness because of the lack of motivation to push themselves, or because they have not found something that they believe to be worthwhile to challenge them. I heard a poem once that said, many a flower has bloomed unceasingly and wasted sweetness upon the cold desert air. It's translated, that means simply that many a talented persons have gone unnoticed, and the world never had a chance to be exposed to their talent because that person did not take the time to begin to express or to demonstrate or to motivate themselves in the direction to bring that which they came into the universe to bring. How can you measure your motivation? How can you evaluate where you are on a scale of 1 to 10? Let's do this for ourselves mentally. How do you rate yourself from 1 to 10? Your mental attitude about yourself, how you feel about you, how you feel about life. How do you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of your physical appearance, in terms of your health? Do you take care of yourself? Are you allowing yourself to get overweight and out of shape? Are you conscious of your health? Are you watching the food that you take into your body? Do you make a deliberate effort to exercise? You know, it was George Burns, he said, we cannot help getting older, but we don't have to get old. And many of us get old before our time because we don't take time to take care of ourselves. Your environment is a very good indicator. On a scale of 1 to 10, is it what you want it to be? Do you find it desirable? Are you satisfied? The job or career that you're involved in. Someone said that 85% of the American public are unhappy with their jobs. Are you spending 8 hours a day just doing time? Doing something that you don't find challenging, that does not make you stretch mentally, that does not stimulate you, that does not inspire you. Something that you don't find a sense of fulfillment in it. If you're doing that day in and day out, it has to affect how you feel about yourself, your level of motivation. Your relationships. What kind of impact is it having on your life? Is it nourishing or is it a toxic relationship? Does it drain you or does it build you up? Ask yourself that. How motivated are you to do something about it? Your contribution, your actions. What are you giving? Many people will leave the universe without a trace. No one will know they were here. And in fact, under their name, we could put under there, not used up. Will anybody know that you came this way? What contribution are you giving? What will you leave? What will be different because you came this way? Someone once said that life is our gift to us that God has given us, and how we live our lives is our gift to God. What kind of gift are you formulating? Is this a gift that you like to take back and do something else before you turn it in? Think about that. What can we do? What are some of the keys that we can begin to use to motivate ourselves when our batteries run low? Because I don't care who you are, I don't care what you do, at some time you are going to get tired. At some time you're going to get in a rut. Seem like nothing you do works out right. And sometimes it just seems like you just don't have the wherewithal or the will to do anything. That sometimes you act like you're punch drunk. You're just wading through life, just doing time day in and day out, looking at non-discriminatory television, anything that's on, just looking. And depressed, feeling powerless, feeling useless, and bored. What do you do? How do you get yourself out of a rut? How do you, when you know you can do more than what you've been doing and you're not doing it and you're discontent with where you are, you get angry at yourself. How do you get out of that rut? How do you motivate yourself? One of the things that we must do is that we must be involved in working on achieving self-mastery. You must work on yourself continuously. Never be satisfied with yourself. Always know that as you invest the effort and time on you, that's the greatest ability that human beings have above animals. See, a dog can't be anything but a dog. Tree can't be anything but a tree. Human being, you've got unlimited potential. You can put effort on you, and by concentrating on you and developing you, you can transform your life wherever you are right now. So you want to work on yourself. You want to read books that inspire you and motivate you. You want to listen to tapes over and over and over again. And I suggest that you listen to tapes when you first get up in the morning. You want to control the spirit of your day. When you first wake up in the morning, your mind is operating at 10.5 wave cycles per second. That's when the subconscious mind is most impressionable. Whatever you hear in the first 20 minutes when you wake up, that will affect the spirit of your day. When you listen to tapes, listen with relaxed belief, believing that this can happen for you. And by listening to them, listen to them over and over and over again, and you will get a breakthrough. You can listen to the same tape for months, and all of a sudden, you hear something you never heard before. It have a special meaning for you. Or read the same book over again, and you find some special insight. You said, I can't believe I didn't see that the first time. So you want to be involved in developing yourself. Most people won't do that. Most people won't take that kind of effort and invest that kind of energy in themselves, because they will fall prey to that conversation within. Oh, don't do that. You don't have time. You're too busy. You're too caught up in the rat race. Most people won't do that. Well, they won't take time to go to lectures. They won't take time to go to seminars. They won't take time to go to classes to improve themselves. And as you continue to work on yourself, you will begin to expand your vision of yourself. You'll begin to work towards self-mastery. And you will begin to see it reflect itself in all the dimensions of your life, your mental life, your physical life, your social life, in your relationships, your monetary life. So concentrate on developing yourself, because if you don't, I guarantee you that you will make a settlement. And most people have. And most of us already have. What kind of settlement have you made with your life? You know, when we make settlements, out of court settlements, you've heard them? That means that you decided to take something less than what you originally wanted to get had you gone into court. And the reason that you settled outside of court is because you didn't believe that you can get it. So you made an out-of-court settlement. Many of us are making an in-life settlement. We're settling for less than what we actually deserve. We don't feel good about it, but we make it work in our minds. We'll come up with some kind of excuse to make it all right. What kind of settlement have you made with your life? Many of us settle for less than what we want out of relationships because we don't have the courage to change them. I had a seminar I used to do called Are You Living Together or Dying Together? Many people are just dying together. Gladys Knight used to have a song that says, neither one of us want to be the first to say goodbye. The next thing is, in order to begin to find some keys to self-motivation to drive yourself, in addition to working on yourself, and as you work on yourself, you feel good about yourself, and as you feel better about yourself, you treat yourself differently. Develop a health plan. See, you can't feel well and do well if you don't have good health. You can't perform if you don't have your health. Your health is valuable. Develop a health plan, a plan that you will follow, because this is the only vehicle that you have to carry you through this experience called life. And you want to take good care of it because you love you enough. You care enough about you. And that's not easy. It is not easy having a health plan and sticking to it. But you're worth it doing it again and again and again. I have lost 22 pounds several times. I always do it. Next thing is, as you take care of yourself, the next key is keys to motivation, to self-motivation. You want to live life with energy and passion. You want to make a conscious effort to be lively. See, in life, you either saying hello or goodbye. You either on the way or in the way. Leave dead people alone. Some folks just walking around looking sad. How you doing, honey? Stay away from these people. Just go away from them. You want to smile. You want to be happy. You got a lot to be thankful for. But you watch some of the faces around you every day. And I tell you, some of these faces, they will put you in a depressed state of mind. So you want to avoid these kind of faces. When you see them coming, turn your head. Next thing is that you want to monitor your inner conversations. The things that you say to yourself. You want to watch them, and in watching them, you want to take charge. A friend of mine told me this evening, and she did it excellently. She said, I didn't want to come tonight. I was feeling so depressed. And I said, I'm going anyhow. See, that was the conversation. Oh, you really don't feel like it. You really don't need to do it. You don't really need to read anything. Forget all that. That's that inner conversation. Oh, you don't need to worry about trying to go into your own business. Forget that. You can't do that. What if you lose everything you've got? That inner conversation that stops you from doing the things you want to do less, don't do that. How can you possibly think about being a motivational speaker? You don't have the contacts, you don't have the money, you don't know the right people. You're going to get up there and your mind's going to go blank. Forget all that. You remember that time you got up before some people and you panicked? You stood up and your mind sat down? Don't you remember? And I said, yes. And then I said, shut up. So you've got to learn to stand up to yourself inside yourself and short circuit, override that conversation that's always going on. 85% of what that conversation will tell you is negative. It's negative. It will tell you you're tired when you really are not tired. It will tell you you can't do it. It will fill you with fear. So you've got to watch that conversation. And when you find it going on, you've got to stand up to it and say, I'm going to do this anyhow. I'm afraid, but I'm afraid not to do it. And I'm not going to let you stop me. The biggest challenge that you will have in life is you. There's an old African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. The next thing that is a key to self-motivation is that you've got to ask yourself, what do I want out of life? What do you want out of life? What do you want out of a job? What do you want out of a career? What do you want out of a relationship? What do you want? What gives you your life? How will you know when you got it? What will make you happy? You need to know. You need to start asking yourself some questions. What do I really, really, truly want? You need to be exact about that. Don't be vague. Oh, I just want to be happy. That's too vague. What will make you happy? How will you know when you got it? Zero in on it. Be exact. Be specific. And as you do that, that will stimulate that superconscious mind, or the reticular activating system of your mind, that will begin to find those things, to identify with it. And once you begin to determine that which you want, take the time to write it down. Don't just think about it. Write it down. That is a subjective process that engages the subconscious mind. Write it down. Once you write it down, read it 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night. Why is that important? Because what it will do, it will cause you to focus. It will cause you to concentrate. When that other conversation is going on telling you what you cannot do, telling you all of the impossibilities and all of the obstacles, your concentrating will begin to create a larger vision within yourself, and you'll start looking for and seeing some new opportunities. You start creating some openings for yourself. As you begin to read that every day, day in and day out, that will make you focus. That will discipline your thinking, and you'll get all kind of creative ideas. As I talk to you right now, being involved in this immersion process, you're going to create some openings for yourself. You're going to get some ideas. You're going to feel your adrenaline flowing, and you're going to think about something, some idea you had. And you say, I want to go back and I'm going to look at that again from a different vantage point, not from the level of the problem or the obstacles that I encountered, but from a higher vantage point. Because what you will begin to see and to know as I talk to the higher consciousness within you, that you are powerful, that you are a miracle worker. And that inner conversation has conditioned you to believe that you are not. And as you begin to discover the truth of who you are, whatever challenge that you're facing in life, and if you're living, you're facing some challenge, you'll begin to know that you're powerful and that you're a miracle maker. So as you begin to write down exactly what it is that you want, read it every day. The next thing is, see yourself there. How will you feel once you get there? What will the experience be like for you? What will be different? What kind of person do you have to become in order to get there? Visualize yourself there. You want to see yourself beyond your circumstances. You got a challenge, see yourself beyond your challenge. See yourself with the challenge already resolved and knowing that all is well. Seeing yourself in control and in charge of your destiny, being healthy and happy. The next thing is, it is important in the area of motivating yourself, it's important to know why you're doing it. Because that mind will say, why bother? Why go through all this? This is too hard. No, throw in the towel. It's not worth it. Has it ever said that to you before? Here's how you can handle that. Here's how you override that. Write down 5 reasons why you deserve it. Why do you deserve what you want? Why you? Why do you deserve it? What meaning and value will it bring to your life? What's so different about you that you deserve your goal or this goal. And when you write down those 5 reasons, when you have some down moments, and you're going to have them, when that conversation starts talking to you, and it's going to talk to you, what you will do is you can pull that out and read it, and it will build you up. It will be your rod and your staff to comfort you through some challenging moments, because you're going to have some. Life will knock you between the eyes. It will catch you on the blind side, come out of nowhere, stuff you can't anticipate that will knock the wind out of you. You want to give up. That's why it's important for you to work on yourself, listening to tapes, building yourself up, talking to yourself with power, feeling, and conviction, building yourself up day in and day out, because it's coming. The next thing is that whatever you do, you want to develop technical mastery. You want to be the best at what you do. You want to master it. See, part of self-motivation is you've got to find something that gives you a strong sense of competence. Well, you become known for that. You develop a reputation of being good at doing that. You set some high personal standards for yourself. You're not competing with anybody else. You're just unfolding yourself to be the best person that you could be. That you want to give the best quality service that you can give, because that is a statement about who you are. The other thing that's the key to self-motivation is recognize the fact that you're going to get into some slumps. Recognize the fact that you're going to encounter a great deal of failure in life. It goes with the territory. But in the face of that, you want to be relentless. When you want something, you don't expect everybody to say, oh, come on in. Oh, you want this? Oh, great. We want to give this to you. You're such a nice person. You're doing it for your family, aren't you? Great. No, life isn't like that. No, many doors will be closed in your face. Many loans that you will want. And they'll say, no, you don't have enough collateral. You don't have enough credit. And most people will give up. But you've got to decide that I'm going to be fearless. I refuse to be denied. And I'm going to go all out. I'm going to be relentless. I don't care how many no's I encounter. I like something Isaiah Thomas said when he was getting ready for a basketball game. He said, I'm going to either shoot us in or shoot us out, but I'm not going to not do anything. You can't make a basket unless you shoot the ball. You can't hit a home run unless you take a swing at it. Most people won't even take a swing. Well, I probably won't make it anyhow. That's the conversation within. They probably won't give it to me anyhow. If you want something, you've got to be relentless. You've got to decide, I deserve this, and I'm going to have it. And you go all out to get it. That drives you.
Many people die at age 25 and don't get buried until they're 65. I was talking to a friend of mine named Rosia, and I said, Rosia, how you doing? And she said, let me tell you something. Life is a mess. I said, girl, what are you talking about? She said, my life is a mess. She said, you know what? She said, I just was sitting up here thinking, I haven't lived. I haven't lived. She said, I've been working hard all my life, paying bills and taking care of my children, and my children are gone, and I've just been thinking, I haven't done anything. I said, why? What are some of the things you'd like to do? She said, travel. I would love to travel. I'd like to see the pyramids. I've never been to Paris. I want to go to Paris. I've never been there. There are things that I want to see, things I want to do. She said, I want to make a difference in young girls' lives, teenage mothers. I was a teenage mother. I want to be able to make a difference in their lives and see the impact that I had on their lives. And she mentioned a variety of things. And I remember a story about a lady who went to the doctor, and she was diagnosed with terminal cancer. And she came home, and she was sitting at a table, and she was drinking some coffee, and all of a sudden she just looked up and she said, I refuse to die an unlived life. I refuse to die an unlived life. And she decided that she was going to live. That up to that point, her life was for her family, for her children, for her husband, but she had left herself out of the equation. Have you ever done that? I remember at a period of my life, I was going to work, and I was working on a job that I hated. And at the same time, I was praying that I wouldn't get fired. I was praying that I wasn't laid off. I was miserable. Nobody was holding a gun to my head, but I showed up every day, and I used a flimsy excuse. Well, I got to pay the bills. I've got a car payment I have to pay. I have a family, I have children, I have a car note, and I have a mortgage note I have to pay. I've got to survive. I was showing up for a paycheck. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not living. And a friend of mine said, you know when people change? And I said, no. He said, when they get to the point when they say, I've had it. I've had it. I think the only reason me right now, the only reason that you're watching this webinar, that there's somewhere in your heart of hearts that you've said, as you looked at your life, you said, I've had it. And not only have you said, I've had it, but you said also in your heart of hearts, I can do better than this. And let me share something with you. You can. Because if anybody told me, and I'm going to share some things with you that I've done, not for the purpose to impress you, but to impress upon you what the possibilities are when you work on your mind and have mindset development. Because I've found that how people live their lives is a result of their state of mind. It has been said, you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. So part of the process, number one, is expose yourself to positive messages. See, what I'm doing right now, I'm distracting the story that's going on in your head right now. How you live your life, how I live my life, how all of us live our lives is a result of the story we believe about ourselves. And most of us are born into stories. I was born into a story where we were poor, but we didn't know it. I didn't know we were poor until I got on a bus with my mother going to do domestic work on Miami Beach. And when we crossed the Venetian Causeway and I saw those big, beautiful hotels, and I was in the homes with my mother making up beds and cleaning, and we ate the food left over from the families that she cooked for. And we wore the hand-me-down clothes of the children that she kept. And I kept saying, Mama, what is it, boy? As we got ready to pack up to go back home and to Overtown and Liberty City and all the poverty and filth and the violence there, I was saying, why can't we stay here? Why can't we stay here? She said, Leslie, we can't. Why? Because we can. Why, Mama? Why can't we? She said, it's just the way it is. Now shut up. I was curious. I wanted to live like Mr. Sidursky lived. I wanted the big car that he had. I wanted that big home that he had. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. It was 7 of us, plus Mama. He had a big mansion, just 3 of them, 10,000 square feet. I said, Mama, what is it, Leslie? One day, I want to buy you something just like this. My brothers and sisters, when we were on the bus going back, they were just engaged in playful things. I was thinking and dreaming. Mama didn't understand why I was thinking like that, because I'd been exposed to positive messages. I had to take care of Mr. Sidursky. I had to shine his shoes and clean his office. And every day when he was listening to motivational messages, I was hearing those things too. Earl Nightingale, we become what we think about. All of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. In order to be successful, you must be willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. Your mind is a machine. You must program yourself for success. Wow. When I heard those words, I said, wait a minute. I can program my mind for success. I can program my mind for wealth. You can too. Trust me. I've earned over $55 million in the last 28 years. Anybody told me that I would be doing what I'm doing right now? I spoke recently in Sweden. They paid me 40,000 euro for an hour speech. I had no idea that this Les Brown that you now see had the ability to do that. I used to work for the Miami Sanitation Department as a garbage collector. I used to be a janitor. I used to do door-to-door sales. I used to work for Sears in Miami on Biscayne Boulevard. I had no idea this Les Brown that you now see had the ability one day to give lectures at Harvard or Yale or Dartmouth University. I had no idea that this Les Brown existed. I don't tell you that to impress you, but to impress upon you. There is more in you. Simba, there's more in you than you have been expressing. All of us have seen Lion King, some great symbols in there. And I say to you, there's more in you right now than's represented in your bank account. There's more in you right now that's being reflected by your life right now. Your life is not a true reflection of your potential. You have greatness within you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. There's a reason that my favorite book says, as a man thinketh, so is he. And as he continues to think, so he remains. In order for us to begin to break into that level of greatness that we have within ourselves, you have to make a conscious choice every day to expose your mind to positive messages.
But life shows us things. It's not an outlet. It doesn't feed into anything. It doesn't give water to anything. It only receives water. There are a lot of people, ladies and gentlemen, that are takers. They're inlets, but they're dead. They're dead inside. They're not giving anything. Their lives are salty, tasteless life, non-contributing life. They're the walking, breathing dead. How many of you know people just take and don't give anything back? These are miserable people. They're miserable people to be around, these takers. The act of giving makes you more alive and able to sustain life. See, when you are going through life relentlessly, seeking out what is it you're supposed to give? What service are you supposed to give, that you're supposed to provide, that you're supposed to bring? That's very important. Service is the rent we pay for the space we take up on earth. So decide now, whatever you have, whatever this is that you have in you, that you're going to give, and you're going to give like you've never given before. Why? It gives your life to give. It brings out more in you. The more you give, the more you realize you can give. The more you share, the more you love, the more compassion you show. What a time when we have homeless people. The time when we have young people who have no sense of purpose and direction. At a time when people are feeling powerless with all the massive layoff and jobless people, and there's a mean spirit against people that are down on their luck. For people now decide that regardless of what's going on in my life right now, there's something I can give. Regardless of what's going on, that I showed up to do something, and I'm going to find a way to become of greater service to humanity and greater service to life. Now, what can you do, Les? When you have been telling yourself you can reach your goal, and you've been affirming, I am abundant, I am rich, I feel better than good and better than most, I'm blessed and highly favored, I can make it, I'm a winner, and you losing every day. You reading all these prosperity books, you listening to all these tapes, and it ain't happening. You wrote your goals down, you've been concentrating on these goals, you've been going out there and you have no money in your pocket. You talking about, I'm a rich child of God. Your mind say, come on, give me a break. Who you joking? What do? When you've lost your spirit, you've lost your job, you lost everything, life been devastated. How do you do it? Come on, be real, man. Come on, get a life. You can't do that. You can't come back from that. Come on. How do you do that? Here's something that Larry DeAngelo wrote. He said, life is like a grindstone. It can polish you or it can pulverize you, depending on how you position yourself. Think about this goal you have. I want you to think about it hard, because here's what happened to that man that closed himself into the garage. He didn't believe this. This is some place that you can always retreat to and be in concert with yourself. See, when I started working on my goal, just starting 5 years ago, to go into a $210 billion industry, had no training in that industry, never did it, no exposure in that industry, wanting to become nationally known, not a celebrity, not some athlete or actor, no exposure to the market, but I decided here's something I wanted to do that gives my life value and meaning. I love talking to people. I love making people feel good and making them laugh and enjoying themselves. I started out, how do you stay in the race, Les, when you knocked on doors and you were turned around and you lost your money and lost your car, had no place to stay, sleeping at people's houses, on their floor, on their couch? How do you do that? How do you handle the times when you were borrowing money and couldn't pay it back? You felt humiliated. When people you love who didn't believe in you and told you you ain't nothing. How'd you fight that inner conversation? How do you keep on coming back again and again? You don't know what has happened to me when your life has been destroyed with drugs or alcohol, or you've lost your business or lost your job or lost your home and you've been completely devastated. How do you come back? How can you tell me that there's a possibility I could come back? Oh, let me tell you something. All I want you to think about, whatever you want to do, whatever goal you have, whatever dream you have, it's to reclaim your health. It's to have your own business, to have another job, to earn more money, to have a better life, to travel around the world, to help out children, to make the environment better. Whatever it is, here's what I want you to stand on, this one statement, on this benchmark. Just say to yourself, it's possible. See, if I'd said 5 years ago, I'm going to make 5 years from now $1 million in 1 year, and I hadn't made $10,000, my mind would say, that's impossible. Come on. So I think the reason that most people don't reach their goals, and many of the people that started out with me that gave up and stopped and they became frustrated, they said, I can do it. I'm not asking you to say I can do it. No, don't say that. No. I don't even want you to believe you can do it. No. That's not a requirement. All you need to do to get out in the arena of life is to say, it's possible. How many of you know people who moan and groan and complain about life all the time, all right? They might moan and groan about their job. I'm sick of this job. I'm sick of you. And they just moan and groan and complain all the time and never do anything about it. They haven't got to the point where they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. They just have enough energy to complain about it, and they consider that, in fact, they believe that that's equivalent to doing something about it, just complaining. No, that can't get you where you want to go. That cannot create your reality for you. The other thing that keeps most people from realizing their true greatness and their true potential, circumstances, their environment. There are many people who believe because of where they're born, because of the area where they are in life and where they find themselves, that's all they know. Given my circumstances, ladies and gentlemen, I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. See, I know something about you, even not knowing you, that you've got greatness within you. You have the ability to do things that you can't even begin to imagine. You have talents and skills in you that you haven't even begun to reach for yet. No one could have convinced me, given my circumstances, given my background, that I would be doing what I'm doing right now. I was born in Liberty City on a floor on 62nd Street, a twin brother and me. When we were 6 weeks of age, we were adopted. When I was in 5th grade, I was identified as EMR, labeled educable mentally retarded, and put back from the 5th grade into the 4th grade and stayed in that category until I got out of high school. I have no college training, but here's what happened. I had an intervention in my life. A man who saw something in me in a time that I did not see something in myself. I never forget being in his class one day waiting on a friend of mine who was there to rehearse for a play. He did not show up, and he asked me to go up to the board and write something on the board. And I said, I can't do that, sir. He said, why not? I said, well, I'm in a special education class. He said, what do you mean? Go up to the board and write what I'm about to tell you. I said, I can't do that, sir. Why not? I'm educable mentally retarded. And he came from behind his desk. He said, don't ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And that changed my life. It was Oliver Wendell Holmes who said that once a person's mind is expanded with an idea or a concept, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was. So some of you are going to experience a breakthrough. Some of you are going to go back and look at your dreams and brush them off. Some of you are going to begin to look at yourself and say, hey, look here, I know I have not done all that I can do.
When Buster Douglas was fighting with Mike Tyson and the odd makers predicted he was a bum and he'd be knocked out in about 1 or 2 rounds, I think that after he made it to the 3rd round, he took some of Mike Tyson's best shots. He said, wait a minute. Hey, Mike, it's possible that maybe this next call might do. It's possible this next job interview might be the one. It's possible. In spite of 27 rejections, it's possible that this might be the one. It's possible. Just maybe I can do this. That's all. That puts you on the playing field. You ain't got to hype yourself and psych yourself out. What it does is just keep you moving in that direction. That's all I'm asking you. Believe that it's possible, that you can make it. I like what Charles Allen says. He said, when you say a situation, a person is hopeless, you're slamming the door in the face of God. You're slamming the door in the face of God. There's no guarantee that because somebody is now down on their luck, they can never come back. Who can guarantee that you can't make it? That you can't have your dream? Who can guarantee that you can't do what you want to do? No one can do that. No one can predict that. You can't even do that. You don't know what the possibilities are for your life. No. All we need to do is we look at our dreams as we get ready to hit the floor. I'm blessed and highly favored, and it's possible I can get my dream. You go after that dream too. Don't go casually. You got to go out there like you want that dream. Don't go out here like these people. See, when you feel like you're blessed, you're ready to get into a good fight for this dream. You're ready to get down for this dream. You want your dream? Let me say, I want this dream if it's convenient, if I don't have any hassle, if I don't have to flip through any hoops, if everything's all together, if I don't have any opposition, if nobody works against me, if nobody tells me no, if I don't run out of money, if everybody loans me what I want and give me what I want and agree with me and support me, I'd like to have that dream. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not that kind of party. It's a party getting what you want, this dream you have. Say it's possible, and don't let nobody turn you around. Don't let circumstances turn you around. Don't let hard times turn you around. It's okay. Whatever you're experiencing, you know that this too shall pass, that you have the capacity and the ability to make it happen. You got a sense of entitlement. I deserve this, and whatever I have to do in order to make it happen, I'm willing to step up and to face life and grab it in a collar and say, give it up, because it's mine. See, most people are wimps, ladies and gentlemen. They're tentative, and they don't believe that they deserve what they want anyhow, so they convince themselves, I'm not supposed to have it. Whatever goal that you have in mind, I want that to be a goal that will challenge you, something that will make you stretch. It was Osborne who said, unless you attempt to do something beyond that which you've already mastered, you will never grow. What is it that you looked at some point in time and you decided that you couldn't do it, that you talk yourself out of it? Whatever it is, bring it back out there. How you're going to do it, that will come to you in due time. So you don't get in life what you want, ladies and gentlemen. You get in life what you are, not what you want. And see, the good news is that we can always become more by working to develop ourselves. So the first process of making this your decade, you've got to begin to take a look at your life and look at where are you right now? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What gives your life a sense of fulfillment, a sense of joy? What does a full, rich life means to you? What is it that you could love doing 7 days a week that'll bring a smile to your face? Think about that. In all the areas of your life, your professional life, your personal life, your family life, your spiritual life, what is it that you'd like to have? Once you begin to determine that, that takes you to the next step. And that is, once you decide what it is that you want, now you've got to decide that you deserve that. I deserve the best that life has to offer. I deserve to find my purpose in life. Find your purpose. Do you know by actively pursuing your purpose, it could perhaps extend your life? The number one killer in this country of all the diseases we have, heart disease, it's the number one killer. And if you ask most people, when is it that the majority of people have their first major heart attack? Some people will tell you as a result of obesity or smoking cigarettes or high cholesterol or high blood pressure. And all of those are contributing factors. However, the truth of the matter is that most people don't realize that the majority of people suffer their first major heart attack on Monday morning between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. People getting ready to go to jobs that they don't like, jobs that are making them sick. You see, when you're not pursuing your goal, you are literally committing spiritual suicide. Now, here's something else. You must be positive. See, a lot of people, when things don't happen when they want it to happen, they become negative and they turn out and start projecting a lot of negative energy. No, you've got to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to be positive. Because see, when you know within yourself things are going to work out for you, when you know within yourself that some way, somehow, you're going to make it, these are just some of the hoops you've got to flip through in order to get there. It's okay. Have a friend who went to get a job and the people didn't hire him. He was so negative. Well, they just don't have a job today. If you want to reach your goal and have a competitive edge, you've got to be hungry. I was doing work for a major corporation and they were having a major downsizing. It's just another terminology for major firings. The people that were working there, they approached them and said, listen, you are eligible for early retirement. We will give you a buyout package of $300,000. if you take it within this time frame. However, after this time frame, when we have the downsizing, you might be among the people cut and you will lose all of benefits that we're talking about right now. And the most you can get is 2 weeks severance pay. Ladies and gentlemen, only 50% of the people that were eligible took this. Let me tell you something. If I'd been there, I'd have gone to ask for your check. See, ladies and gentlemen, life is too short trying to play it safe. It's too short and unpredictable, being miserable. It's too short for that. Here's the thing. There's no safe position in life. Let me tell you why. It's a quiet secret that most people don't realize. You can't get out of life alive. Hello, you can't get out of life alive. So there's no safe position. So if you want to make this your decade, you've got to decide to be bold. So you got to be bold in life. You got to take life on. I remember I was at a major corporation. I had to give a presentation, and there were two guys sitting across from me, and the guy said to the other fellow, looking at the last two finalists, and that involved my firm and their firm, said, listen, looking at the credentials, this guy doesn't have any credentials. We have an advantage here. We've got 2 PhDs between us. I got up and I went in the bathroom and started talking to myself. I said, Les Brown, what do you care about their 2 PhDs? You have 6 children and a mama to take care of. And I went in that meeting, and first of all, I went in walking bold, looking good, feeling good, and smelling good. And I sat across that table, and we started negotiating, and I operated in a spirit of absolute certainty. I looked at them as if the only reason that they were born was to give me that contract. They survived 1 out of 9 million sperms to carry out this transaction, and I got the contract.
So you got to decide to be bold. Most people go through life trying to creep. No, no, no. Trying to be casual about it. No, no, no. You go through life being casual, you'll end up a casualty. No, you've got to be bold in life. You've got to take life on. When you have some goal out here that you're stretching for and reaching for that takes you out of your comfort zone, you'll find out some talents and abilities you have that you didn't know you had. I started speaking just to elementary school kids, because I knew they didn't know what I was talking about. And they gave me all kind of standing ovation. Then I graduated up to junior high school, and then to senior high school, and then to various community groups and church groups and civic associations, and then to colleges and to businesses. Now I'm traveling across the country and then traveling nationally and internationally. But I never would have discovered what I'm able to do right now if I wasn't willing to take a chance. And you've got to be willing to do that. You've got to believe in yourself.
You have something special. You have greatness in you. I've been saying for a long time, you have greatness in you. And someone asked me, why do you always say that and emphasize that every time you speak? Well, I'm going to share with you why I say that. I said because I know that based upon my own experience. When I think about where I came from, born in an abandoned building on a floor, I want you to see something that my friend Dr. Miles Monroe talked about. Rob the cemetery of your gifts. Had I not been willing to invest in myself, had I not been willing to change my relationships, had I not been willing to believe that I had greatness in me and was willing to experiment with this thing called life, to take a chance on me, I would have made the cemetery rich with Les Brown, because I had so much in me that I didn't even realize. That's how I know you've got a lot in you you don't even know. And for 14 years, I didn't do what I'm doing. For 14 years, I didn't believe that I could live the life that I have lived and I'm continuing to live. I don't want you to sleep tonight. I want to upset you. I want to disrupt your conversation with yourself, because you came here with something in you. You have a superpower. You have a story and you have a voice. We were raised in poverty. Now, I want you to really remember this. It's not where you start, it's where you're going. When you think about all the stuff that's going on now, the most powerful area that we have not, I talk about the value of knowing you have greatness in you, self-development, knowing the truth of you. Now, what you will notice is my superpower, which is my ability to communicate. I invested in myself, I got a coach, and I surrounded myself with the right people. Look where it can take you. Somebody is waiting to hear your voice. There are people all over the world that's waiting to hear your voice. I don't know you, but here's what I know about you. That you have something special. You have greatness within you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. I want you to think about some major goals that you have in your life. A friend of mine told me a period of his life he was going across Europe on the train, and at different points, people would wake him up, the staff on the train, and ask him 3 questions. Who are you? Why are you here? And where are you going? And I think that life is always asking us that question. Who are you? How do you see yourself? How do you define yourself? And where are you going? Something that you want to do, something that you want to accomplish. When scripture says, eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you, that means something. I hear people saying that all the time, and they haven't done anything. They haven't been anywhere. They don't even live their lives from a place of power. They don't even know who they are. And they take their talents, their abilities, their skills, their superpower to the cemetery. And you know people like that, because they underestimated themselves, because of the kind of environment that we live in. That's why Richard Wright said, the impulse to dream has been slowly beaten out of me through the experiences of life. We've had some experiences that Many of us don't even dream anymore. Somebody asked the question, when is it a man or a woman dies? When their dreams die. So you listen to these people speaking, these politicians. They're trained. They're all talking from the same playbook. They're getting the media and they get caught red-handed and lie with a straight face like you are blind. Nothing happens until it's spoken. Warren Buffett said this, the most important investment you can make is in your ability to communicate. Not being able to communicate effectively is like being in a dark room with a woman. Nothing happens. And I realize I'm not for everybody because the majority of people are not hungry. If you're serious, tired of playing around, knowing that there's no such thing as job security, want to live a life that's you, want to live a life that the future you will say, whoa, I'm so glad you made that decision. A life that gives you a sense of significance and purpose and power. You want that? People say, why do you laugh so much? Because I have joy. See, if you're doing something that's not you and you under pressure and you don't like the job, 86% of people don't like their job. They go to these jobs they hate and at the same time, they hope they don't get fired. It's like mixed emotion. This is for somebody who want to rob the cemetery of their gifts, of their story. This is for somebody who has a passion for helping children, helping kids, give people hope. This is for somebody that's ready to say, yes, this is for me. I don't want to convince you to do this. A person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. Most people are not serious. Most people are not hungry. Most people have already settled. Tennessee Williams said that most people look in the mirror at some point in time in their lives and they know the eyes that are looking back at them are looking at a person that all they're ever going to be and all they're ever going to do, they've already done it. This is for people who said, I want more. This is for people that are serious. Road to life is straight and narrow, and few there be that find it, because few there be that are serious. Few there be that are determined. Few there be that are hungry. Those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, right thinking, right words, right feelings, right people, right vision shall be filled. I repeat, you have something special. You have greatness in you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you about taking charge of your life. This is a time that people are literally taking charge of their lives because they know that life, it does not have any warranty. You have no guarantees, and you have to take charge. What do you want to do with your life? People are rethinking their lives. What do you look like? What does your life look like? How do you want to do life after this? That now we have to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to find peace, to build stronger relationships, stronger family ties, to turn to each other rather than on each other, to stay focused on some goal, some skill that we can develop, something that we want to do, some impact we want to make with our lives, rather than just running scared. We're here to do a work, the greater work. You have something special. You got greatness in you, and you have to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to find out what is that greater work. What does that look like? And let me be about my Father's business. Let me be engaged in doing something, and this is what people want. The reason that many people who've been told, oh, you don't have to come in now, and then they said, okay, you can come on in now, it's safe, and there are people saying, no, they said, I want to do something that's me, and that's a good thing. Doing something that's you. It's unthinkable for some of you saying, I don't want to die a life doing something 40 hours a week or 60 hours a month. That's not me. I want to do something that resonates with me, with my heart, with the things that I know that I have within myself to do, but through procrastination, through fear, through being in a toxic, negative environment, through my not having confidence in myself. And I know about that. For 14 years, I didn't do what I'm doing because I didn't believe in me. I didn't have the confidence because I don't have a college education. I didn't think that I can compete with people with PhDs and MBAs.
and being labeled educable mentally retarded and put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade and failed again at the 8th grade at Booker T. Washington High School in Miami, Florida, where Michael Baptiste is from. I did not think that I had the ability to do what I'm doing. And so here's what I'm challenging you to do. Number one, get a larger vision of yourself. I want you to live from where you see yourself going. Did you hear what I said? Live from that place. See where you're going. See yourself being there and experiencing what that's like. He said, I'll give you all your eyes can see. You want to focus on where you are going. And yes, there are things going on around us. Yes, there are going to be other viruses, but don't allow the corrosion of a virus of lack of vision to take your life away. You want to hold a vision of where you're going and what you want out of life. Most people are just trying to get through life. You want to have a mindset of what you want to get out of life because you can, and because that's why we are here. The other thing is you got to upgrade your skill set. That in order to live the kind of life that you envision for yourself, you got to ask yourself the question, what is it I have going for me? And in my case, I looked at myself and I had to ask, what is it you have going for you? What is it that people compliment you on? What is it that comes to you naturally? What is it that you could do it and it's no big deal, but you do it well? There are people around you that see some stuff and they have some value. Perhaps it's no big deal to you because it's you and you can monetize that. This is the time. This is an entrepreneur's dream. Why? Because you want to have the mindset of getting your piece of the pie. Write down, what's my piece of the pie? See, money has not left the planet. And some of that money that's out here, it's got your name on it. There's some products, there's some ideas, there's some inventions. There's some stuff in you that you can monetize. And you want to think about that. What is it that I got going for me? What is it I'm bringing to the table? That's what you want to do. What is it that you're known for, that you're good at? And something that you enjoy so much, you'll do it for nothing, but you do it so well that people will pay you to do it. We know that life has no guarantee. Life, it's uncertain. Life, it's unpredictable. Life, it's coming for us every day. It's saying, I ain't playing with you. It's going to take us out. One way or the other, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Nobody's figured out how to get out of here alive. So you want to live life now. You don't want to die an unlived life. You want to have the kind of courage that Michael Baptiste has. Just get a one-way ticket somewhere and figure it out. Didn't even know how to speak the Thai language.
When you're working on a dream, at some point in time, a transition takes place. And the transition is what you are becoming in pursuit of the dream. Because even if you don't get the dream, you become such a strong and powerful person. It will so change your life, you can look at something else and say, well, I think I'll go do this then. Because you've now developed yourself in such confidence and such competence in how to deal in the arena of life that you can move into another area and not miss a beat. Once you begin to discover who you are, then you really realize how you have been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth, including all the dimensions of your life. But you can only do that through the struggle of life. And most people avoid the struggle. Most people go through life avoiding pain. And when you go through life like that, something in you dies. Something in you that you never activate is lying dormant in there, that you never get a chance to call on because you have not challenged yourself. Somebody said, the land of familiarity belongs to the dead. That most people like to feel like they're a king in the area of their comfort zone. They only want to do those things that they know how to do well. Osborne said, unless you attempt to do something beyond that which you've already mastered, you will never grow. So if you want to begin to grow, you've got to put something out here that you can't reach easily, that has got to make you stretch, got to make you jump for it, got to make you get back a little bit and dig in so that you can take a leap for it. And maybe you jump up there and you miss it and you skin your knees and you come back again and you bust your lip next time. But you keep on, and through that process, you learn how to leap higher. You start challenging yourself to dig deeper, and then you discover some things about you that you don't know right now, some talents that you have in you that you didn't know that you can do.
Dr. Howard Thurman, one of the mentors of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Albert Schweitzer and Mahatma Gandhi, he was a very brilliant writer. He wrote some things that really grabbed me. He wrote, "Deep is the hunger, the voice of the genuine, the centering moment." During the time after receiving 238 radiation seed implants, I was reflecting on his words, and these words kept me up that night. He said, "The ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over." He said, "But imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the talents given to you by life, and that you, for whatever reason, you never went after that dream. You never acted on those ideas. You never used those talents. You never used those gifts. And there they are standing around your bed looking at you with large angry eyes saying, 'We came to you, and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever.' And the question is, if you died today, what dreams, what ideas, what talents, what books, what music, what leadership, what voice will die with you?" Miles Monroe, great orator and speaker, said the wealthiest place on the planet, it's not in the Far East where there's oil in the ground. It's not in South Africa where there are diamond mines. He said the wealthiest place on the planet is the cemetery, because there you'll find greatness that we've never seen. There you'll find talent and genius and potential never actualized. Perhaps that's why Henry David Thoreau wrote the words, "Oh God, to reach the point of death, only to realize that you've never lived." Maybe that's why some unknown writer wrote the words, "What if you live your whole life only to discover that it was wrong, that it was wrong, that you were chosen to do something else and you didn't do it?" I want you to think about your goals and dreams in the three categories that I mentioned: personal, professional, and your social contribution. See, ladies and gentlemen, I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. It's my 21st year. I could have been speaking and training for 34 years. But for 14 years, I was living in my head. For 14 years, I stopped myself. For 14 years, I used to go see Zig Ziglar, that I considered the #1 motivational speaker on the planet. Zig Ziglar and Tony Robbins, they're the best on the planet. Bob Proctor, they're the best on the planet. Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, T. Harv Eckert. I would go and see them, and then I would leave, and my conversation with myself was, my heart would say, I can do that. And then my mind would ask, how? How would you do that, Les Brown? See, when I was in the 5th grade, I was identified as EMR, labeled educable mentally retarded, put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade. I failed again when I was in the 8th grade. I have no college training. And a man changed my life, and I'll never forget his name, Mr. Leroy Washington. He's in his 80s now, and he's blind from glaucoma, but he gave me a different vision of myself. I was in his class waiting on another student. He came in and said, "Young man, go to the board and work this problem out for me." I said, "Oh, sir, I can't do that." I said, "Why not?" I said, I'm not one of your students." He said, "Look at me." "Yes, sir. Go to the board and work the problem out anyhow." I said, "Sir, I can't do that." He said, "Why?" I said, "Sir, because I'm educable mentally retarded, sir. I'm in special education." And the students started laughing. They said, "That's Leslie. That's not Wesley. He's DT. Wesley is the smart twin." He said, "What does DT stand for?" I said, I'm the dumb twin, sir." And as the students laughed at me, he came from behind his desk, he looked at me and he said, "Don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality." On one hand, I was humiliated. But on the other hand, I was liberated, because he looked at me with the eyes of Goethe, who said, "Look at a man the way that he is, he only becomes worse. But look at him as if he were what he could be, then he becomes what he should be." And so we developed a relationship. And one of the things that I can just tell you as you think about your goals and dreams, all of us can say in a spirit of integrity that it's possible. That if anybody at any point in time lived their dream, then it's possible that I can live mine. And what I did was, I made a mistake. I looked at my goals and dreams, and my mind said, how will you do that? I went from my heart to my mind, and I stayed up there for 14 years. 14 years. I can't bring those 14 years back. Those years are gone. And I've made a mission in my life to help people to stop putting it off and procrastinating. How many ever thought about something you wanted to do and you procrastinated, you talked yourself out of it? There's a proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And so, as you look at your goals and dreams, every day we must convince ourselves, we must sell ourselves on that it's possible. Every seminar, every workshop, every book that I've ever read, every speaker that I've ever heard, it interrupted what I was believing about myself. Everything that you do, everything matters. As you go through each day, I know now as I look back at age 63, looking at my life, everything matters. T. Harv is right. How you do anything is how you do everything. And I realized that the choices I was making was based upon how I saw myself. It's necessary as you look at your goals and your dreams, it's necessary that you have a strategy and a game plan to change the story that you believe about yourself. And that's an ongoing process. I've discovered, and many people have, that what we do, what we accomplish, what we produce is a result of the story we believe about ourselves. My favorite book says, be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so as I began to work on myself, I realized that I'm getting out of one story and stepping into another story. As I become aware of some things, there's still some things I'm not aware of. So I'm still growing, I'm still developing. I'm like the lady who said, Lord, I ain't what I want to be, ain't what I'm going to be, but thank God I sure ain't what I was. But I realize that you have to work on yourself on a regular basis for mental mindset and stamina, because things are going to happen to you. I believe that the reason that most people go to their graves with their talents and abilities and skills in them is because of the fact, number one, many are like me. They didn't know that they didn't know and thought they knew. I thought I knew myself, and I really didn't know myself as well as I thought. I've discovered that sometimes people can take you to a place within yourself that you can't go by yourself. The other reason is I was afraid. I never worked for a major corporation. I wanted to speak for corporations. I was afraid I would be exposed because I don't have a college education. I felt inferior because of the fact that I don't have a college education. I allowed that level of fear of failure to stop me. And because I never had any experience in it, I assumed that I could not do it. I was paralyzing myself by believing and assuming the limited part of myself as opposed to believing that I had something special. You have something special. There's something you want to do. Because you don't know how to do it doesn't mean that you can't learn. I like something that I heard. You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. See, the people that will live their dreams, the 2% that will do that, become a risk taker. They're risk takers. They don't mind failing. They don't mind making mistakes. They're willing to take life on, take life in the collar. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? I like what Helen Keller said. She said, life is short and unpredictable. Eat the dessert first. Well, one of the things about life, you're going to get hurt. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to fail your way to success. But you got to be willing to experiment. You got to be willing to push yourself. You got to be willing to challenge yourself by putting yourself in a perpetual state of discomfort. And so, but things happen in life. When you have goals and dreams, things happen. I had no idea. Midway of my third term, my mother became ill. She was diagnosed with breast cancer. And my brothers and sisters called me and said they're going to put her in a nursing home. And I said, no. They said, we thought you would say that. We've interviewed the best nursing homes in Dade County. I said no. See, I had a problem. How can one woman raise 7 children who couldn't take care of themselves, but 7 grown people couldn't take care of one woman? I had a problem with that. And I said, no. So I resigned from the Ohio legislature and I came back to Miami to take care of Mama, and took care of her until 89. And there are things, as you have your goals, things are going to happen to you that you can't anticipate. Some of you are in the eye of the storm now. Things are going to happen. And don't say, well, why does this have to happen to me? There's times in your life when things are going to happen that you've got to begin to put your dream on hold. And you might have to reinvent yourself. It's called life. And don't tell everybody about it. 80% don't care and 20% glad as you. You have to suck it up and handle it. That's what it's called being in business, being an entrepreneur, being a risk taker, walking by faith and not by sight.
What keeps you in the game? If you know someone has done it, you know that you can do it. And that feeling alone, when you want to give up, when it doesn't look like things are going to work out, that thought alone that it's possible because someone has done it, that means that in some way, somehow, I might be able to do it. And that will keep you strong. That will keep you challenging yourself to become more creative and resourceful and skillful. Next thing is that once you know and determine what your dream is, what your goal is, where you want to go, what you want to do, what you want to experience, that it's not enough to look at what your options are. Next thing you know is that as you have this dream, that it becomes necessary that you live this dream. So they talk a lot about people dying from their diet, about what they're eating. But I strongly believe, and I said it once and I'll say it again, that more people are dying because of what's eating them. See, when you know what you're supposed to do, or if you know you can do more than what you're now doing, and you're not doing it, life will eat you up. It will wear you out. You will live to regret it. When you are acting on your dream, or if you're seeking and relentlessly trying to find your purpose, what fits for you, it means a level of mental healthiness. It means a level of peace. Life now takes on an adventure. Life now has some new meaning. But if you decide to settle to be less than what you are, to enjoy less than what you know you are capable of producing, if you decide to continue to live within your comfort zone, and just say, oh, it doesn't matter? No, your dream does matter. People with dreams live longer than people without dreams. People who have something to look forward to, they don't need an alarm clock to get up in the morning. You got a different kind of energy about you. You're talking about not only extending your life, but adding life to your years when you know what you're supposed to do. So now your dream is not optional. No, it's necessary. Not only it's possible, but it's necessary that I do something about this. Because if I don't, it's going to eat me alive. It's going to drive me crazy. No, I've got to do this. Wherever he is, he starts doodling something. I have a friend who she writes. She's always writing something. Why? She's got to do this. She's got to express what's in her. You got to find your thing. And whatever it is, it's necessary that you do it. Now, here's what we know. And as you know that it's possible, then it's necessary that you act on this dream, it takes you to the next level. People are going to help you along the way. You're going to get some help. Also, you can get some opposition. You're going to have some challenges. It's not just going to just open up easily for you to walk in and get what you want. Otherwise, everybody else will be doing that. And so how do you make this dream come true? What's going to be the determining factor? Here's what you know. The determining factor is you. That you're going to make it happen. You are the difference. Nobody can do your work for you. Nobody's going to take care of business for you. Nobody's going to live your dream for you. Nobody's going to sing your song, operate your business, do this great work that you have been selected by the universe to do. Nobody's going to do that for you. That's some stuff that you have been given to do, and if you don't do it, it won't get done. Very good friend of mine who died recently, who wanted to speak, who was a great writer. One of the most painful things I went through was at her house with her husband, as we looked at things that she had started writing, and she never completed them. She never completed those poems. She had papers everywhere, stories. I remember a play she said she was going to write. She never wrote that play because that play will never be written, ladies and gentlemen.
whatever her approach, whatever her ideas, whatever those creative energies are that was going to be in that project, that's gone now. And I'm saying to you that what you got, what you showed up, that if you don't give it, it won't be given. And that if you don't do it, we all suffer. Life is less for all of us. All of us got something. So here's what we know. That if it's going to happen, it's you. You got to take ownership for making this happen. You are the one. It's you if it's going to be. It's you. You are the captain of your ship. You are the power in your life. You are the force behind your achievement. Circumstances, lack of money, lack of support, obstacles, none of those things can stop you. They can make it inconvenient, but ultimately, it's you. You will make the difference. Will I be able just to walk out there and get it? No. That you're going to experience some hard times, some disappointment, rejection. Things are going to go wrong. Things that you thought would happen one way won't happen that way. You find out that it's much easier to get into something and it costs you more to get out of it. So here's what we come and develop an appreciation for. Why is it that people don't want to grow? Why is it that they just settle for being less than what they are capable of being? Why is it they shy away from doing their stuff and challenging themselves and taking life on and making it an exciting adventure? Why is it? Because living your dream, it's hard, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you, I don't want that kind of responsibility. No, that's okay. I'll stay back here. No, that's all right. It's hard living your dream. It's hard taking the heat in the kitchen. It's much easier to try and take the low road than to come up, stand up front and take life on and take it in the collar. Most people won't do that. Most people don't have that kind of boldness about them, that kind of gutsy attitude about life. It's hard, yes. Changing your life, breaking habits, rebuilding yourself. It's hard. Starting all over again, that's hard. When you've seen your dreams go up in smoke, when you take a chance, you act on something you just knew it's going to work out and it doesn't. It's hard, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know it in your guts. Your life has whipped you real good and kicked dirt in your face. And people have counted you out and said, I told you, fool, not to try that. I told you. Why'd you listen to me? See how you wouldn't listen. Now you don't have nothing. How you like that, Kadumbo? Friends like that, you don't need any enemies. So what if it's hard? If it's hard, make it okay that it's hard. Really doesn't matter what you're going through. Only thing that matters is how you handle it. Only thing that matters how you deal with it. That's all that matters. Benjamin Weir was held captive in Lebanon for 16 months. He said the first 12 months he was chained to a radiator. He was released, and he came to talk about what happened, how he handled it, how he dealt with it. And he said during the time that he was chained, he said every day I would go down each chain. And he said I viewed the chain as my Protestant rosary beads. And he said that as he looked down each link, he said I would identify something that I had to be thankful. In the midst of the torture that he was experiencing and being a captive, he had good reason to be panicked. He had good reason to be miserable. He had good reason to be angry. He had good reason to feel cursed and deserted, to feel hopeless, to give up. He had good reason to do that. To be depressed, he had good reason. Here's a man looking for ways that he can think about the things, the blessings he can count in his life, not focusing on his problems, but looking at the things in his life that he could be thankful for. He said at a press conference, what would you say to your captives today if they were here? What would you say? He said, I would say, goodbye. John Gross went on to write, he says, an optimist sees an opportunity in every calamity. A pessimist sees a calamity in every opportunity. But when you make it okay, what can make you make it okay? Your attitude about it. That you decide that this is not going to determine who I am. Charles Swindoll said about attitude, he said, the longer I live, the more I realize the impact attitude has on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. He says it is more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures and successes, than what other people think or say or do. It is more important than appearances, giftedness, or skill. It is something that can make or break a company, something that can make or break a church or a home, something that can make or break you. The remarkable thing is we have a choice
every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play the one string we have, and that is our attitude. That's all we can play. I am convinced that life is 10% of what happens to me and 90% of how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. And when you're in charge of your attitude, you say, if it's hard, then do it hard. I won't allow this to stop me. I don't have the option of easy. I don't have the option, and I don't think you do, or any of us do, of going around trying to find a dream that's a little dream that doesn't require much responsibility or not too stressful or won't be too much of a hassle. No, that's not how you develop your greatness. No. I remember when I got caught up in the common consciousness of what's happening in corporate America and the business world, and I was thinking about reducing my staff, and I'll never forget what Mike Williams said to me. He said, Les, you talk about shrinking into greatness or expanding into it. You can't shrink into it, but look at our expenses. Expenses only issue because of the fact that you have not generated enough money, so they don't matter. You want to look for ways to cut your costs or look for ways to generate more revenue. With that kind of attitude, we made more money in that year than ever before. First $1 million year. Changed our attitude about what we were doing. Decided to take the challenge on rather than wimp out and say, we're going to downsize. No, right size. Give me a break. How are we going to expand ourselves in the international arena? Being wimps? No, being creative. The kind of courage and tenacity and determination and spirit that has made us a great country. So it's hard. Who cares? Next thing is, we know that we are not gluttons for punishment. Yes, we most certainly would like for things to work out for us. And none of us want to just go through changes unnecessarily. So what will make a person pay that kind of price? What would keep a person in the game? What will make a person take on that kind of responsibility, face those kind of pressures? What would keep a person strong? I say to you, when you talk to the people that are manifesting their greatness, the people that are moving and expanding and making a difference in life, in business or in their personal lives, or on a social level, I'm saying if you ask those people, why do you do it? They will say, it's worth it. That's why I do it. It's worth it. It's worth it to me to pay this kind of price. What is it that makes it worth it in your life? Nietzsche said, if you know the why for living, you can endure almost any how. So what is the why in your life that will make it worth it? And I say, it's your purpose. It's your life's purpose. It's the reason that you're here. It's the reason that you showed up on the planet, that you're in alignment with what you are supposed to do, that you're creating, that you're building, that you're making a difference, you're making impact, because this is who you are. You have got to express this. You've got to do this. You won't have any peace unless you do. And so here's what we know as we look at the dreams that we have. If they're out of reach right now, we know in spite of that, it's possible I can have my dream. We know as we start working on it, that it's not optional, that it's necessary, that I live my dream, that I do my work, that I'm working constantly to express who I am. I'm working constantly, experimenting with life, trying to find out what my stuff is, what I'm supposed to do. And I know that it stops here, that it's on me, that I'm the one that's got to do this. This is how I'm finding my place in the sun. This is my signature on the planet. I know it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard, but it's worth it because it's my life purpose. And once you go through that, it brings you to the next level, that it's done. And once you go through that you go into another level. I was reading something that Henry David Thoreau said. And just to paraphrase it, he says, if you advance confidently in the direction of your dream and endeavor to live the life which you have imagined, you will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. You will put something behind you. You will pass an invisible boundary. New universal and more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around and within you. Now listen to what he said now. He says new universal law will establish themselves. Means that now these laws are going to be working in your behalf. They have your interest in heart, in and around you, or old laws will be expanded or interpreted in your favor.
Now the universe is lining up on your side because of your courage, because of your faith, because of your determination, because of your guts, because of your imagination, because of your relentlessness. The universe is yielding to you. Someone said that the universe stands aside to the man or woman who knows where they're going. It says, in a more liberal sense, you will live with the license of a higher order of being. We've all had some things happen. Some people call it synchronicity. Just out of nowhere, a call came, help came, money came that you didn't expect. Where did that come from? You're operating at a new level of consciousness, a new order of beingness, that you are able to call forth things, that you can speak the word and it happens, it materializes.